Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Legend of Korra Book 3 Change episode commentary. This one's going to be for K312, Enter the Void, second last episode of Book 3. To sync up your copy of the episode with this commentary track, what you need to do is have the episode ready to basically start, press play on the Kyoshi, the opening of the episode effectively, which is the Kyoshi Earth, Fire, Air, Water bit. I'm going to stop speaking in a minute, and then when I come back after that pause, I'll hit play, you hit play, and we'll basically be both synced up then. So I'm going to stop speaking now, hit play when I start speaking again. Okay, so here we are with Enter the Void, K312, episode 12. First part of the basically two-part finale, and I think this is a really good episode. In many ways, I maybe prefer this one to episode 13, just because some of the emotional moments are really strong, and there's some really good fight scenes and stuff like that in this. It's just very intense with the whole kind of hostage kind of exchange sequence, and the whole emotional lead up to that, some of the really dramatic moments that happen, like the death of Pali, the apparent death of Tonrock and stuff like that. So I really like this episode. Plus, obviously, Zahir learns how to fly, and that's pretty strong. One of the stronger character moments for the Red Lotus in the entire book as well. So that's always nice to note. But the big thing here is that obviously they're coming up with these clever plans. They're trying to come up with clever plans to make it so that this hostage exchange works out in their favor. And you see that both sides are basically trying to do this, that neither of them are actually just going to do the fair trade. The heroes want to keep Korra, but also get the hostages back, and the Red Lotus want to take Korra, but without giving away their advantage, because they're at a severe numbers disadvantage. And Korra at this stage is at the point where she's just obviously talked to Zuko and Iroh, and she's come to the conclusion that, Aang would do anything to keep the fact that the Air Nation are back, and would do anything to protect them, and she, they don't want to risk losing the Air Nation to try and save her, so she's going to kind of give herself over, and then once that happens, and once the Air Nation is safe, maybe then they can try and execute a riskier plan to try and get her back. But she's putting herself, she's putting the Air Nation ahead of herself, basically. She has to do this. And yeah, this is her kind of big thing as the Avatar in this whole book, that her whole character arc in this book effectively is just end of episode 1, she decides she wants to help restore the Air Nation now that Airbenders are back, and then she makes this sacrifice in these last 2 episodes to make sure that that happens. It means she's not up to much in the middle of the book, but it is overall a fairly kind of strong arc, especially in these more intense last 2 episodes, that this is an important thing, that the Airbenders are back. She has to make it so that they remain back. And you're here, Korra and Zahir talk, and we just see, once again, he has the advantage, he has more hostages, he's in control, he's the villain, he's going to organize most of this situation, and the heroes are going to have to do their best to adapt to what he's demanding in this exchange. And more setup just for the Bolin likes Opal, and then we could have waited to see where Naga and Pabu are, since they're not involved in this fight, and they're basically the house pets of Grandma Yin and co, so they're back in Zaofu, so just a nice kind of humorous scene, one of the only ones in the entire episode, just to see Grandma Yin scold the two of them like just house pets, after being kind of afraid of them in earlier episodes. And here we go, the plan is kind of set. Korra's going to trade herself over. It's going to take place at Lahima's Peak. And obviously, naturally, she has to give herself over first, and then, if they're lucky, the Red Lotus will give the Airbenders back. And yeah, I like this kind of clever plan in that, as far as Zahir is aware, it's kind of just Team Avatar there, and So as far as he's aware, like there's not a whole army of Zaofu soldiers going to be at this meeting, and so he's kind of like, okay, he's not thinking as heavily about the situation, and so that gives the heroes a little bit of an advantage in that they can plan a large scale assault on Lahima's Peak if things go awry or if they need to get Korra back. Now this scene is probably one of my favorites between the Red Lotus members, because it's one of the only scenes between members of the Red Lotus where there's any sense of emotion involved. And this is a relationship that was set up in the very early episodes, that Pili and Zahir are in a relationship, and it's never referenced. It's like this and the scene where it's established that they're in a relationship are like the only episodes that it's mentioned in. And you get the whole thing of like he saved her from a warlord, he is very important to her, she is very important to him. This is a big relationship. The two say that they love each other. It's a really emotional moment just before this crazy battle is about to happen. And it's clear setup for obviously the way in which Zahir unlocks the power to fly, in that what's the whole, enter the void, empty and become wind. He has to empty himself of all attachments, and so he's not tethered to the ground by any attachments, and so he can fly once they're gone. It's a really cool setup ultimately, and maybe it's a kind of weird thing in that, like, it's great that they had one romantic relationship in the book, but if it was only there to give Zahir the power to fly, it maybe wasn't executed the best. But still, it's a strong moment. And an emotional goodbye from Korra to her friends. And it kind of just shows the difference between maybe the Team Avatar groups, and that Korra is the one in the important position. They're all on Team Avatar, but ultimately, she is the Avatar. She's the one with that title, and she's the one who has to put herself on the line here. And a nice father-daughter moment. You really see how much Tonrock has grown as a character as well. He's a lot more, he believes in Korra a lot more. He respects her decision here because she's putting others in front of herself, even though he's obviously afraid for her as her father. And that's another setup moment. Like, before going into this battle, you get these two scenes of just like Korra's relationship with her father and Pili's relationship with Zahir. And these are the two relationships that are at risk as we go into the battle. So it ultimately creates this interesting dynamic where Zahir sees Pili die, and Korra, as far as she's aware, sees her father die, and so the two are kind of fighting each other, having just witnessed the death of like the person closest to them. And here's the plan. Obviously, Asami, the people that Zahir knows for sure are on Korra's side are the ones that are going to pick up the Airbenders. Asami, Mako, and Bolin. They have no idea that Sue, Lin, Tonrock are involved, plus all the soldiers. But Kazan is here. And there's a really cool moment coming up with Minghua doing something awesome, but still, it's a super intense moment just because hostage exchange, such high stakes, the whole fate of the Air Nation. We don't know like if Tenzin is alive. I think at this point we're not sure about that. There's some big reveals still to come. And Korra has a radio. And here we go, we see Tenzin. He's alive but just badly beaten. What a relief after the ending of the last episode. And then, like, okay, they're all hooded, but they're all there, and you don't really suspect anything just yet. Here are the kind of tense moments of the hostage exchanges. Who makes the first move? Who actually like hands over the other hostage first? And Korra has to give herself up first. And platinum chains once again because they know Korra's a metal bender now. I suppose, how do they know that? I suppose she was in the metal clan. They assume that she probably learned some metal bending, and that's why they're doing it. Because otherwise, like, has she actually shown the Red Lotus that she can metal bend yet? Maybe I'm misremembering some stuff, but I don't think so. They probably just assume that she knows some. But they free Tenzin, and you see them wiggling in the background there, and you're just like, okay, there are people that just, maybe to save on the animation, they didn't animate all the faces just there and then. background, but here we go. They're just water puppets, and it's a really cool, like really fancy waterbending technique that Ming-Hua could manipulate so many people and make it look realistically until they were that close. And obviously this kicks off the fight. There was a betrayal, basically. There was no deal. And yeah, really cool situation. Just Korra has to fight with her hands and feet bound, and everyone jumps into battle here. It's a full-on battle between a bunch of benders. Everything's kicking off. It's really intense. Yeah, Korra can do some pretty fancy moves despite being contained like that, like all these little drop kick moves, utilizing a bunch of the elements already. But she's at a disadvantage with Zahir not tied up. But everyone arrives. And here we go. It's like Pili versus the metal benders, basically. Here we go. And just the power of combustion bending really shown heavily here. People getting blasted off mountains, but because they have metal cables, they're fine. And just like one hit from Pili, and these characters are dead. And really, really cool action scenes here. Just earth and metal bending versus combustion bending. I would have liked to see Pili integrate a little bit more fire bending, because we saw her do a little bit. But for what it is, it was fine. And then Tonrock makes his appearance to save his daughter. And here's a really cool tag team kind of father-daughter move here. Tonrock swings Korra up, front flip, fire drop kick. They send the airship away. There's some really great choreography going on in this episode, definitely. Fights are actually really good. That's always something I'll praise the Red Lotus for, that they do make for really cool fights, because there are such unique benders. It's just one of the things, it's always this kind of like asterisk beside the Red Lotus, just like, but if only they had more characterization. And you're just kind of wondering, okay, where are the other airbenders? They're hidden somewhere else. And yeah, we see the power of lava bending shown in full here, with Gazan just effortlessly able to just destroy stuff, and it really gets over like that. Lava bending is this extremely destructive bending that, you know, if you don't basically like make it harden it, basically it just burns everything. So it's really powerful. And like it kind of makes you wonder, like, how did Gazan learn lava bending? Because, you know, since it's such a rare ability, like, how would anyone like know how to teach someone that skill? I assume maybe he just learned it himself, but it's just a case of like, okay, someone discovers they're a lava bender, they just turn something into magma suddenly, lava suddenly. How do they know how to like stop it being magma and just burning everything? It's just one of those things where like, if you have no control, this is such a vicious element. And seeing the like whole Western Air Temple falling down here is just crazy stuff happening. And obviously the rest of the Team Avatar are running from the lava, and they're escaping through the tunnels. It's a really cool chase scene, just between like natural element kind of lava and just characters, all kind of leading up to the fact that Bolin's the one trying to stop the path of the lava behind them, and it's going to lead up to his big moment in a minute, where he realizes he's a lava bender. And the setup is actually really strong for this. Like in book one, everyone, like, it's really weird, just the situation. Like, book one, everyone was a little bit like, okay, Bolin didn't really have much of an arc in book one, but Mako was interesting. I hope they fixed that in book two. And it's kind of just been the case for book 2, 3, and 4. Bolin gets a much better arc than Mako in the last 3 books. But yeah, really cool kind of father-daughter versus the Zahir scene here. Just really strong, shows how kind of well they work together, where Korra really gets the kind of amazing physical attributes from that. The two are great athletes and stuff like that. Really cool tag team moves, and just like, imagine that move hit, that would have been devastating. And really cool slow motion moment. But yeah, this is the moment where Korra just basically sees her father killed. She doesn't see anyone save him. she doesn't know for sure, but as far as she's aware, Zahir just killed her father. It's you don't quite get the intensity of the moment off her face just there, but you see it when we turn back. And then almost immediately after that, we cut to the scene where we're going to see the death of Pali. And again, the setup is kind of like Lynn and Sue versus Pali, and Lynn showing how much she appreciates the new relationship with her sister by willing to put herself on the line for Sue here. And yeah, here I'm just kind of waiting for this moment to happen, because it's just such a shocking moment when you see it happen. Sue is just about to get blown up. Lynn's just about to get blown up, and then suddenly she just blew her head up. And I'm just like, did they really? I get they didn't show it. They didn't show you anything specifically. But just the fact that what is implied to have happened to Pali, the way she died, is crazy when you think about it. And yes, there was like a murder-suicide explosion at the end of book 1, but this is kind of on another level, where you don't see this sort of thing happen that often in any TV shows, anime and stuff like that. Just the idea that her head was encased in metal as an explosion went off. It's crazy. And then that moment happening was the last attachment that Zahir had, and it allows him to fly, the basically super subset, complete mastery ability of airbending. This is what it is. Flying. It's definitely impressive, it's just like, okay, cool, there's lightning bending, there's metal bending or lava bending for earth, there's blood bending, kind of healing for water bending, and now air has this ability as well, and I suppose you can also count in Janora's spirit projection technique as another thing that's related to airbending. It's a special ability. But yeah, Zahir gets what he wanted. He has captured Korra, despite the loss of Pali. And here we go, the setup for Bolin's moment. I think rewatching this episode just now, what I really like about this moment, this episode, is that it's just super intense moment after super intense moment. Just like, this character apparently dies, this character does die. Bolin, in this scene, reveals he can lava bend. Kai comes and rescues everyone. It's just really impressive episode. And this was such a nice build for this episode as well, just for this moment here, because it's kind of been set up like, can you metal bend? I believe you can metal bend. If you try hard enough, you can metal bend. And they gave Bolin so many moments where it's just like, okay, now he's going to metal bend and save everyone. And they leave it until this moment where metal bending won't help, and you think, oh, Bolin's just going to sacrifice himself so everyone else can get away, and he lava bends, and it's just like, whoa! And then you cut to this moment, just the destruction of the Northern Air Temple. Really emotional. Definitely one of the best episodes of the book. It's not even over yet. And here's the big Kuvira moment set up for book 4. You could call me Kuvira. It was just like, and everyone was just like, she's important. She's going to be the book 4 villain. It was almost too obvious with that moment, like what they were leading towards. But I like that they did set it up that she was in this book. And Lefty saves everyone. Kai is here, and he's obviously been searching around. He knows where the new airbenders are. Kai saves everyone once again. And then, this is a nice reveal as well, just the fact that she says this in front of Tenzin. It's just like the legends of this technique, and that's what it is. You kind of just think about it, and it's just like, sorry about that. Just the idea that the ultimate form of airbending is flight, and you can only achieve it by cutting all attachments to the world. And it really kind of this double-edged swords of just like, yes, you gain this power of being able to do this amazing technique, but you also have no connections to people truly, and the amount of airbenders who are kind of shut out from that ability because they're not willing to cut all those ties. And so it's just kind of like, what sort of person does it actually take to learn this ability? It's not like a lava bending where lightning bending where you just have to have a kind of clear mind. This is just, you have to cut all ties with people. It's pretty crazy. And I like that Kai's just saying, this is my bison now, and instead of later on, says that's Lefty. And then Oogie returns. I suppose this is also kind of an explanation for the whole, how are Sky Bison still alive? When the Fire Nation attacked, obviously some Sky Bison fled. They came to live elsewhere after the death of their masters, and other herds were found elsewhere. That's the explanation we get in Book 2. Another Kavira scene. And here's the kind of bookmark of this Kai Mako relationship. He was very suspicious of Kai early on, almost too harsh, but Kai realizes he was overboard early on, but they have a better relationship now. It's just it was a nice scene to have. And then we cut to this scene. The reveal, he has to reveal to the other two that Pali is dead, and the reveal that he can fly to everyone, plus Korra is captured. There you go, he's no longer bound to this earth by worldly desires. Pali is not there. And it's something that other people pointed out to me, and I think it's a really cool moment. The second he talks about Pali, he stops flying. Because it does hurt. It's not just to think that the death of Pali has been just this thing that allowed him to gain flying, and he's perfectly fine with that now. He's still upset about the death of Pali. Korra thinks that Tonrock is dead, but he's not, we know. And then there's the situation. As far as the two are aware, they've both just lost someone very close to them just today. And then the episode ends with just a reveal that they're going to poison her. But you still... Do you get the reveal about what exactly they want to do with her in this episode just yet? Or is it just a threatening of poison? So, yeah, the end of this episode is just that they want to poison her. You don't get it revealed until the very last episode that it's to get the Avatar state to come out and then kill her. And it's a fine reveal, but they've been building to it so long that I was almost expecting it to be something different than just, oh, they want to get rid of the Avatar for all time. I was expecting it to be more related to the Red Lotus, like they wanted to poison her in such a way where she would join their side and the Avatar would be on the bad side for a while and she'd have to fight that. But no, it's just this... they're going to poison her and bring the Avatar state and kill her. It's still a really strong moment because it gets across how kind of tortured Korra gets in the final episode, and how far she goes to kind of sacrifice herself for the airbenders. But yeah, that's been the Enter the Void episode commentary. Gonna try and get the episode 13, the last one for book 3, out probably Sunday. If not then probably Monday or Tuesday. But either way, the book 3 commentary should be ending shortly, and then I'll start straight away with the book 4 ones. So, yeah, that's been the commentary. Thanks for listening, and bye.